Victoria 3 was never intended to be a game about warfare, and as much as people complain about it, this is completely fine. Paradox has many grand strategy games, they don't all need to be about warfare. So, instead, Victoria 3 decided to focus on three things: diplomacy, government, and economics. Victoria 3 isn't a game about conquering your neighbors, it's a game about self-growth. You become strong not by taking from others, but by simply making yourself better. And this is a great idea, but as I have told my friends many times, I don't believe in good ideas, I believe in good execution. Let's go through it one step at a time. We'll start with the government. The internal government system of Victoria 3 is actually pretty good. There's enough substance here to make it an actual challenge to wrestle away an interest group's clout. The power and money interest groups have is determined by how you built up your economy. If you went big into manufacturing, then the industrialists will have the power. If you built a bunch of barracks, then it's the armed forces, and if you decided to go with universities, well, then that's the intelligentsia. This is actually a system I really like. It gives the game depth, and I'm sure it might be annoying to have to deal with the landowners, but boy does it feel good to finally reduce their power. The problem with this lies not in its own mechanics, but it's the fact that you can skip it all. If you want, you can simply decide to fight a civil war and reduce the power of any interest group you want completely. This, in essence, means the government aspect can be skipped. Let's move on. In my opinion, the economy aspect of this game is the most fun. Gaining access to resources and using synergy to skyrocket my economy is really fun. I love exponentially growing my economy until I have the highest GDP in the world. And the standard of living system also gives me more options on whether I want more money or want to make my people happy. And again, this is a great game mechanic, but it runs into the same problem that the government does. You can bypass it. Play a game as France and build nothing but barracks, and you'll see this phenomenon in action. Puppet as many nations as you possibly can, and you'll notice you actually have more money this way than if you had concentrated on your industry. And it's the same way for smaller nations. Annexing or puppeting your neighbors is just a stronger way of building your economy than just building the economy. So you've come to the realization that maybe you need to use more warfare in your runs to be more powerful, but you actually want to use the other game mechanics rather than ignore them. So instead of building up your own military, you decide you'll make friends. Get yourself some allies that can help you conquer without having to do it solely yourself. You spend your influence to make sure the other great powers like you, and decide to go to war with an African nation to either puppet or take a state. You're not too greedy, so you check to make sure the infamy won't be too high, and it's only about 12. It seems reasonable to you, so you make your demands, and to your surprise, the nation you had been building relations with for the past 20 years has sided against you. And they're demanding to puppet you. You obviously can't accept these terms, but it's too late to back out now. You're now forced to fight off what you assumed was your ally to avoid having your run ruined. So you fight, only to be curb-stomped as no other power was willing to help you out, and you become a puppet of Great Britain. This run is over. It's going to take you at least 30 years to break away, and in that time you'll be paying a large chunk of your income to your new overlord. So you quit that game and start a new one. You do as I did. You decide that the diplomacy system is too random to rely on, and decide the only reasonable path is to build nothing but barracks and completely ignore infamy. This is the strongest way to play the game, but it's not fun. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that the combat sucks in Victoria 3. You've heard that said ad nauseum, but I'm going to do it anyway. Victoria 3's combat system is a mess. War goals simply require you to have a piece of the target state you wish to take, or part of the capital. This sounds decent in theory, but again, execution is everything. The biggest problem with Victoria 3's combat is the naval invasion system. You see, Victoria 3's combat system doesn't believe in reinforcements, so whenever a battle happens, that's it. The number you see will stay the same until the fight is over. These battles cannot be reinforced, and units cannot leave until the battle is over. The more creative of you can see how the system is easy to manipulate. If a battle were to occur with no defenders, it is simply an uncontested land grab. So, if one were to simply break down their navy into several dozen commanders, and initiate an amphibious landing with each of them at the same time, well, the first invasion would run into the defending navy and fight it. The subsequent invasions would all bypass that navy, as there are no more ships to fight. The first naval invasion would meet the border resistance, but the next ones would bypass it and simply get to land for free. They would then get to continue taking land as the initial Coast Guard is still caught up in that first invasion. This essentially means that any country with a coast can be taken down through cheese tactics that don't require any challenge whatsoever. And without challenge, what is there to overcome? Victoria 3 is a good game. Everything it tries to be, it's good at. But in order to play the game as well as you can, you have to ignore those systems and focus on the one aspect of the game that isn't fleshed out. This is what I mean when I say Victoria 3 is the worst good game I've ever played. What Victoria 3 tries to do, it is good at. It is a good game. But it is also the worst. All those good things are irrelevant. They are pushed into the background by what I consider to be the worst military system I've ever seen in a strategy game. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be that way. The most fun way to play this game right now is to gatekeep yourself from going full militaristic. And I mean that. Playing this game without going militaristic is fun, but feels shallow, like I'm missing something. Victoria 3 could be one of the best games Paradox has ever made, but right now it's just not. It keeps pushing people into the one thing it's bad at. It holds a magnifying glass to its own weaknesses, and unless it finds a way to stop, I'm afraid that this game with so much potential may die a slow, painful death. Thank you all for watching. This video is a bit different than my normal style, but it's something I wanted to make. I have 500 hours in this game, and this is something I noticed a while ago, and I really wanted to share it with you all. If you like this style of video, please let me know, because I really enjoy these more fleshed out videos. Anyway, that is going to do it for me today. I hope you all enjoyed and have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.